That's kind of where we're at right now. You know, longer term, we still got the 200-day moving average in our sights on the Nasdaq. So, you know, when you're thinking about the general market, right? It's what's the bigger term picture? Like, how is it? You know, how is it looking on multiple month time frame? And then what is the short term action? So the short term action is showing us, right? Even the last 3 days while we've been consolidating, that the market is still having real pockets of strength. It's, you know, in a bull market, like when the market's in a bullish phase, even flat days are going to have like really big breakouts, right? So like you're seeing like stocks like these Coop and stuff, like you're seeing these, some of these software names really explode even when the market's flat, and that's what you want to see. In a bad market, what will happen is the market will downtick, and then every stock will just get dusted. But when the market is actually truly healthy, what really happens is even the days the market's down or the market's flat, you'll start to see individual names break out. That's what they'll call like, you know, a stock picker's market. Any of you ever hear the term? Anybody use that term? That's kind of like where we're at right now. Is like, yeah, we're still under some resistance, but the short-term action has just been really, really nice. So keep some of these names still on your list. I got CLVS still on my list for this potential breakout. I added AXSM, so we've got, you know, a real nice breakout here. 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests of this resistance spot. So you got what we call like a high tight flag essentially. You ended up having a pretty nice push kind of at the open on Friday, but the daily chart on this looks really nice. This thing's probably got room to, you know, into the 10s or 11s, and it'll do it quickly when it gets there. So be mindful of this. Now, this is a biotech, so right, we're not really buying and holding this thing. This is just a day trading apparatus. I added this AON on the watch list too. Like, you had a nice breakout over here to highs. This thing got popped up on earnings, it looks like, on green, meaning like, right, it's got to, like, if it pulls back at the open today, right, and flushes a little bit right at that sweet spot, and then you go red to green, we'll take this thing back to the upside. Hey, Christy, where you been lately? AMD, forget that one. I added this ADIL also to the watch list. This one was a really nice trender. It pulled back to the 50 SMA. You've remounted 2 moving averages today, so on Friday. So you got a really kind of a nice sweet spot on this thing. I think this one should have the potential maybe to get back into the 8s. ZS on watch also. We got a flat top breakout over here. We had a 1 day of rest day. Usually when you get like something like this and you get like that just one solid rest day, what'll happen is it'll build up enough steam for it to get back into it. And so, you know, after you have like a big day, if you have an inside day where you're just like kind of chill with low volatility, that's usually a sign that, you know, it's got more room to go. It's got a little bit more power into it. So I keep that on your watch list. This EOS, it looks actually pretty nice. So this has got a PR out today about blah, blah, blah. Not really sure. But the range on it's from 16 to 25 already. You're starting to see this thing really move around. And then it's back into the 21. So you've got like a pretty $10 range on this in the aftermarket. That's what I want to see, right? I want to be able to trade stocks that have really big range up or down. I think this one's going to have a little bit of juice to it. This DGAS is also something that, you know, frankly, it had a huge trend on it on Friday. You're starting to see it really cook. If you look at the natural gas ETF UNG, the bottom just looks like it's about to drop off on this thing. So this is like just a big bear flag. It's a 1 month long bear flag, essentially. It's starting to kind of bust below this level, and if it does, that DGAS is going to pop. So I got the DGAS on the watch list for potential longs. I won't chase it, though. The one thing with this one is, like, anytime you try to buy this thing on strength, it doesn't work as well. But what will happen with DGAS is that about once a day it gets shaken out, and you end up with like this, like a big flush on it, and then it starts to rebound. And when it starts to trend, what you want to do when you trade some of these things, let the trend set. Let that 9 EMA curl up. Let the trend set once it kind of breaks out, you know, over the high of days. And then you can start kind of adding it and playing to the long side. But if you start to time it too early, and the pattern is too loose, like over here, see how the pattern is loose here? The bottom drops out, and then you just end up getting stuck. And the range on it's so big, like if you end up with 300, 400, 500 shares, you know, it drops $4. I mean, you're really, really ruining your day. So what you want to do is let it start to trend, let that 9 EMA curl up, and then you want to participate inside the trend, but don't try to anticipate it because it just drops out fast. So like today, the game plan, as you can see, like it's already starting to move pretty aggressively. What I want to do is just wait out the open. So I don't want to try to jump into this thing. Usually you got to wait like an hour for it to set. And once you start to set and see which way it starts to trend, you can hop on and participate. But otherwise, it just ends up acting really, really nasty. So really, this EOS is probably my fave. And then, you know, we'll still keep Labu and NBED. You know, it's not... And then AXSM. So those are probably my five top favorites for today. Yeah, Mr. Shoesmith, you can put it on the ban list. No pattern, no trade. Yeah, let's take a look. So Bank of America, Luis, I'm not really sure. This is just kind of a stock that's in range right now. So, you know, it's kind of a slow mover too. In general, like its range is like 50 cents every day. I think you can find some hotter patterns than that. This MU looks a lot better. This one actually looks pretty nice. So you got this like big kind of, you got like a big spot at around 40. Definitely that's something I would personally keep on the list. I think you got something there. What else? CHK. Man, CHK is a tough trader. Let me tell you, because number one, it just doesn't do any range intraday. Like, so when you look at like a chart and you see these kind of blocky candles, these are usually stocks that are just like kind of like algo stocks, like series satellite radio trades like this, where like you don't have really any, it just kind of ticks around. You just don't have any heat. It's not a good day trader in general. You know, you could, if you wanted to maybe swing trade it, you know, like you could probably hit it on this breakout and then just put a stop at the, you know, bottom of the range. But definitely not something like I personally would want to day trade, just because I don't know if it has the range like you need to really get up and going. That one's just okay. Hey, Miss Amy, how you doing? Yeah, pot stocks are still going today, guys. So, you know, you definitely can keep them on the list. Just be real mindful. Like, man, these things are getting extended. They're a little bit long in the tooth, so you got to be careful. Like, when you start riding up that upper Bollinger Band and you're like, when you start to get the whole candle outside of it, at that point, like, you're really, you know, the reward to risk is not in your favor, and it really favors it to the downside. So you've got to be just careful on it. And you know what? The brokers have made these things so friggin' hard this week over this 45. So you can see like this 45 spot was really big, but it's been holding here for 1 day, 2 day, 3 day. It's on its 5th day, right? It's been holding over 45. So I think that one should have a little bit of juice on it. Oh yeah, oh yeah. What else? Who's got a heater for me? Nobody. Yeah, it looks a little dry out there. There's not that many good gappers today, so we'll have to just kind of, we'll just have to keep our eyes open and see what starts to pop up. Yeah, spiky. Not much volume on it just yet, 3,000 shares. So not really my cup of tea. You know, when I see like a gapper, something you can play, but otherwise, you know, they just don't have that. Yeah, it's a little slow out there, but you know, Facebook for short, I don't know. Facebook in general, like if you lose this level, probably you'll come back and fill this gap a little bit. So just kind of be mindful. You're right at the like bottom of the breakout bar. So if you lose that, you know, you may kind of bleed this thing back down. Chang. Hey, Jacob, what's up, buddy? You know, Netflix actually looks pretty bullish, you know, for the most part. Like, it's just flagging out here. So, I'd keep this on watch too, yeah. Like if it comes out of that zone, I think you'll be able to get this thing going. So as always, guys, it's Monday. I got work to do. I'll be in the Bulls on Wall Street chat room doing what I do.